Hey human beings, welcome back to Thumb Together TV. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Succession Season 4, Episode 2, Rehearsal together. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, if you think I'm okay, feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. And if you happen to be a fan of classic fantasy and adventure stories, maybe check out my self-published fantasy novels on Amazon. They are called We Were Wizards. It's part of a series I've been working on almost my whole life, probably half my life. But you can get both of these books right now on Amazon.com. This purple one is the first one, and then the silver one is next. And they are available in paperback, in ebook, and even in some pretty delightfully sexy hardcovers. So check those out on Amazon all across the world if you're into that. It would help me out a lot too, because I'm an aspiring author. So, and don't forget to leave reviews if you do buy them, because that also helps me out. So like I mentioned in the last Succession video, because of the time that Succession is coming out, work is really piling on. So these are going to be much shorter than normal until things lighten up again. So this is going to be a quick one, but we're talking about episode 2, Rehearsal, and it's named as such because it happens to involve Connor and Willa's wedding rehearsal. More on that in a bit. But essentially what we have here is we have an episode that's all about the characters weighing the decision of, hey, maybe we should press pause on this Gojo deal and try to squeeze Madsen for more money. And that's what it comes down to, is it boils down to this episode being some characters want to say, yeah, let's press pause and let's try to really milk this. And other characters saying, let's not push our luck. This deal is what everything is hinging on for everyone. Please don't ruin it. Please just let it go through. And you've got a lot of people on both sides making really good points. Frankly, I'm of the mind, now I am not a risk-taking business person, so clearly that's just my opinion, but I'm of the mind that we should not be pushing Madsen and we should just be taking the offer, the very generous offer that we're already getting. Madsen himself calls Kendall and tells him, don't push me because I don't like that. And if you push me and you try to get greedy, I'm backing away and you're getting nothing. And very interestingly, Kendall does not share this information with his siblings. And he says, yeah, let's go ahead and push Madsen. What could go wrong? That's one of the most baffling, you know what, scratch that. That is the most baffling thing about this episode, at least on surface level. But if I'm going to throw a theory out there, and that's what we love doing here on the show, is just throwing out Succession theories, and this is the last season, so any theories are pretty much going to be confirmed or denied in 8 weeks. But I believe Kendall is doing this because his endgame, his big, giant final endgame that he has been planning since who knows when, is just to ruin Waystar Royco, to drag it through the mud as much as possible so that the company becomes a worthless rag and a shell of its former self. Why do I think that's what he wants? Because, in my opinion, Kendall knows his father. I think the thing that would hurt his father the most is to see the company that he built with his bare hands turn into just a worthless piece of crap. So it's not about beating his father at the negotiation table. It's not about creating something that's more successful than Waystar. I don't think Kendall cares about that at this point. Kendall really is a nothing to lose kind of person right now because he has been dragged that far. So it's not about trying to claw his way back up. I think his point of view is he wants to drag the company down to those depths with him. In doing so, he's going to smear his father's legacy, and because that's what Logan really cares about, that's how Kendall can hurt him the most. I think that's what Kendall's got up his sleeve. If you agree, disagree, I don't know, let me know in the comments. So Sandy and Stewie, who are still around, I find those two very annoying, but Sandy and Stewie are still around, and they are still trying to push for more money from Madsen, and Shiv thinks it's a good idea. Roman doesn't. And I love the fact that for the first time, really, I am agreeing with Roman's ideas. You know, he was so chaotic in the first 3 seasons, but now he's the one that I'm like, hey, we should listen to him. Let's not push Madsen. Let's just get this over and done with so we can move on with our lives. Roman's becoming the smart one, ladies and gentlemen, in this absolute circus that is Waystar Royco. Speaking of circus, there's always an entertaining line that stands out as the best line of the week, and this time the line of the week goes to the person who I think has won the most lines of the week on this entire show, and that would be our buddy cousin Greg. Because Greg is watching Logan do something he doesn't really do too often, which is walk the main floor of, I think it's ATN News, the news network that they bought out. Logan is just walking the main floor, looking around at all the people, getting right down in the trenches with everybody. And Greg points out Logan walking around on the floor, and Greg says, he's wearing sunglasses inside. It looks like if Santa Claus was a hitman. Greg is so terrified of Logan, and that gives us some ammunition for some of the best things that come out of that man's mouth. I swear. Nicholas Braun better have a soaring career after this show because he deserves it. But I wanted to touch on Logan being on this newsroom floor and talking to the crowd because that to me is a great example of empty corporate bluster. And what I mean by that is this. They stack a bunch of papers on the floor so that Logan has a little bit of a rise, a little bit of a stage, just a little soapbox that he can stand on and, spread his arms and speak to these new people that he is lord and master over. And he does. And he gives them this big, rousing speech. But the thing about that big, rousing speech, and I don't have it quoted word for word, it's to me an example of just why this life, this corporate, money first, everything else is second kind of life is so just empty and fake and gross. Because when he gets on his little soapbox, Logan talks about nothing. He talks, but he doesn't say anything with any merit. He's just saying things like, we're going to be the best, we're going to do the best, we're going to do well, you guys go out there and you do what you do, we're pirates, we are going to get what we want. It's an empty shell of words. Timely enough, considering it's Easter weekend. It's like when you go to the store and there's those Easter chocolates, right? And there's those chocolate Easter bunnies that you can buy. And some of them are solid chocolate. Like that thing weighs 8 pounds and it's just chocolate all the way through. And then other ones, the much cheaper ones, are totally hollow. And you bite into it and it just crumbles. And inside there's nothing but empty air and broken promises. And that's what this speech is. And that's what, in my opinion, all these kinds of big, blustery, corporate rousing speeches are, where it's just a person talking a lot without ever really saying anything. Logan gets up there, he says blah 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 blah, and everybody cheers like it's the greatest thing ever. It reinforces why this lifestyle really grosses me out. Why this whole, Harvard business degree, $500 suit, cubicle office life, all about the bottom line lifestyle, it just makes my skin crawl. Like these type, and if you're one of these types of people, I apologize. I'm about to insult you, and it is what it is. But these types of people, I feel, are missing the point of life entirely, and the lives they lead on this never-ending quest for more money is so vapid that it's almost ludicrous. And that's what this speech is. It's a vapid, empty, meaningless, ludicrous bunch of words that somehow come out sounding coherent for no other reason than Brian Cox is a pretty damn good actor. And that's it. And he continues to play this terrifying, awful human being of a villain in Logan Roy, because at the end of the episode, he goes to the karaoke bar where he sits down with his 4 kids, which you don't get all 5 of them in a scene very often. So when it happens, I'm always leaning forward like this, like, what are they going to say to each other? And as usual, when he has been beaten, when all signs point to him being wrong, like, for example, back in, I think, season 2, when he hit Roman, Logan shrugs his shoulders and mumbles and worms his way masterfully around an apology by not actually apologizing sincerely, but just saying things like, yes, I am sorry for how you perceive that I made you feel, and it's just not my intention to do that. And anyway, we gotta talk business now. Ugh, worst of the worst kind of person. And he manipulates the kids into feeling sorry for him by putting on this facade. And then as soon as he is out of that karaoke bar and he goes home, what happens? We end the episode with him calling Roman in, knowing Roman, being the smallest one, the youngest one, still the most naive one, is the easiest to manipulate, and basically lying to Roman's face and telling him, I need you, son, because the other ones, they're all a bunch of assholes, but you're not. You're the smart one. You know that I'm right. I need you. It makes me so mad because this is not the first time he's done this. This isn't even like the 31st time he's done this. It seems like he does this every episode, and Roman keeps falling for it because he just wants to have a good relationship with his dad. He's still texting him on his birthday. And Logan doesn't see that and think, oh, my son loves me. Logan sees that and says, Romulus is the one I can manipulate. God, I hope by the end of this season they push him off a building or something. And then, of course, there's poor Connor, who spends the episode pining after Willa and afraid that Willa might be about to leave him because she is clearly not happy. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. But Connor delivers a very, very small speech, which I think is pretty poignant because compared to Logan's very, very big speech, Connor's very, very small speech spoke volumes. And it's just him saying, I'm okay if Willa leaves me because I don't need love, because I have never grown up with love. because I never grew up with parents who loved me, because my siblings are all half siblings, so I was never really part of their little clique, so they never really loved me. I've been an outsider. I don't know what it's like to have love in my life, so if Willa walks away, it's just par for the course for me at this point. And hell, I'm getting choked up just talking about it. Connor has been the butt of many jokes throughout this whole show, and we get it. It's fun to laugh at him because at the end of the day, he is still a incredibly naive billionaire. But hearing him lay his cards on the table like this, it's a rare thing for Succession characters to do this and to be genuine about it. Just having him say those words out loud, oof, that really got to me. So as much fun as I have laughing at Connor's misfortune and at his idiocy, I do hope when all is said and all is done, give the poor guy some love somewhere. And it's nice that Willa stuck around, so I don't know where that's going, but man, that's one of the most heartbreaking things that I think has happened throughout this whole show. And all the kids have had stuff like that happen to them, like Siobhan last week, just watching her marriage crumble and not really doing anything about it. And of course, everything going on with Kendall and Roman. But it's nice to see that somebody is laying their heartbreak and wearing it on their sleeve. We need more of that. Anyway, that has been my discussion on Succession Rehearsal. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Sorry for the lateness, again, of this video. We're going to make these as fast as we possibly can, but Sundays are now very busy for me, so I'll watch it when I'm able to watch it and talk about it when I'm able to talk about it. Until next time, my friends, adios.